Right now, somewhere in the world, a person is lying awake because their partner smiled at someone else. That feeling, that tight burning knot in the chest, is not a modern invention at all. Anthropologists have found evidence that jealousy is one of the oldest emotions our species has ever carried. But here is the strange part that almost nobody talks about. Many hunter-gatherer societies had entire systems built specifically to stop jealousy from tearing the group apart. They understood something that most modern relationships completely ignore today. Jealousy was never treated as a private problem to hide and suffer through alone. It was treated as a danger to the whole community, and it was managed together. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how ancient humans handled desire, rivalry, and heartbreak. You will also learn why some of their solutions might explain why your own jealousy feels so overwhelming today. For most of human history, people lived in small bands of 20 to 50 individuals. Everyone knew everyone, which meant romantic rivalry could not simply be avoided or ignored. Modern researchers studying groups like the Hadza in Tanzania have found surprisingly open conversations about attraction and rivalry. This openness is very different from the secrecy and silence that often surrounds jealousy in modern life today. Later in this video, I will explain how one ritual practice actually turned jealousy into a public event. I will also explain why some ancient cultures saw a small amount of jealousy as completely healthy. Let us start with the biggest myth, the idea that ancient humans were simply more relaxed about love. That assumption is mostly wrong, and the real anthropological picture is far more complicated than that. Researchers like Helen Fisher have argued that jealousy likely evolved because it helped protect pair bonds and offspring. A partner who showed no reaction to betrayal risked losing resources, protection, and support for their children. So jealousy was not a flaw in ancient humans, it was a survival tool that had a clear purpose. Imagine a small band camped beside a river during the last ice age, roughly 15,000 years ago. A hunter returns from a long trip and notices his partner sitting unusually close to another man. He does not explode in anger because everyone in the camp is watching how he responds. Instead, elders quietly step in, and the tension becomes a matter for the whole group to resolve. This leads to something almost nobody expects, the idea that privacy itself made jealousy worse over time. In small ancestral bands, almost nothing was truly private, so suspicion rarely had room to grow in silence. Modern life, by contrast, gives couples enormous privacy, which paradoxically gives jealousy more space to fester unseen. There is something even stranger almost nobody talks about, and it involves the role of oral tradition. Many indigenous cultures used storytelling to teach children about jealousy long before they ever experienced it themselves. Folktales among groups like the San people of southern Africa often feature characters who destroy themselves through envy. These stories acted like early emotional training, preparing children to recognize jealousy before it controlled their actions. This brings us to the second major myth, the idea that ancient societies were universally monogamous like many modern cultures assume. Anthropological surveys, including work by Sarah Blaffer HRDY, show enormous variation in relationship structures across ancient human groups. Some societies practiced strict pair bonding, while others practiced forms of shared parenting among multiple partners. In several documented tribal societies, multiple men were believed to contribute biologically to a single child. This belief, known to researchers as partible paternity, actually reduced certain forms of jealousy and rivalry. If several men believed they might be the father, they often protected and provided for the child together. This is a striking example of how belief systems could reshape emotional responses that feel purely instinctive to us. But here is what most people don't realize about rites of passage and their connection to jealousy. Many cultures used formal rituals to publicly mark romantic commitment, which reduced ambiguity and lowered suspicion within the group. A public ceremony left little room for secret rivalry, because everyone in the community understood the new relationship clearly. Shamans and elders in various tribal societies also played a direct role in managing jealousy between community members. They were often seen as neutral figures who could mediate conflict without taking either side personally. Imagine two women in a village both drawn to the same skilled hunter many generations ago. Instead of open conflict, the village shaman might hold a private ceremony to address the tension directly. This ceremony often involved shared rituals, symbolic gift exchange, or structured conversation guided by a respected elder. The goal was never to erase jealousy completely, but to prevent it from becoming violence or fracturing the group. Modern psychologists studying anger and conflict resolution now recognize the wisdom hidden inside these old community practices. Structured mediation, similar to what many shamans once provided, is now used in modern couples therapy today. There is a deeper biological layer to this story that connects directly to a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone because it strengthens trust and emotional connection between partners. Some researchers believe that communal rituals, including dancing and shared meals, boosted oxytocin across entire ancestral groups. Higher oxytocin levels within a community may have reduced overall tension and made jealousy easier to manage together. This is why ancient communal life, filled with shared fires, meals, and rituals, may have softened jealousy's sharpest edges. Modern life often removes these communal bonding moments, leaving couples to manage jealousy almost entirely alone. Let us look at another myth, the idea that ancient men were simply more possessive than ancient women. Evolutionary anthropologists have found that both men and women experience jealousy, though it often triggered differently. Men more frequently reported distress over sexual infidelity, according to cross-cultural studies conducted by David Buss. Women more frequently reported distress over emotional infidelity, fearing the loss of resources and long-term commitment. Researchers believe both patterns developed because they protected different survival concerns tied to reproduction and childcare. This does not mean either response was more valid, only that both served different ancestral purposes. Here is a scenario worth imagining: a gathering circle around a fire on a cold prehistoric evening. An elder notices a young woman staring silently at her partner, who is laughing with someone else nearby. Rather than ignoring her discomfort, the elder invites her to speak during the group's evening conversation. She names her feeling openly, and the group listens without shame or ridicule, which was common in many oral cultures. This simple act of naming an emotion aloud is something modern psychologists now call emotional labeling. Emotional labeling has been shown in brain imaging studies to reduce activity in the brain's fear center. In other words, simply saying, "I feel jealous," out loud can calm the nervous system almost immediately. Ancient communal storytelling circles may have been doing this kind of emotional regulation long before modern therapy existed. There is something even stranger almost nobody talks about, and it involves jealousy as a teaching tool for the young. In several tribal societies, adolescents were guided through mock scenarios involving rivalry as part of their coming-of-age training. This helped them practice managing strong emotions before facing real romantic rivalry as adults within the community. Modern emotional education rarely includes anything like this structured practice for handling jealousy before it actually happens. Now let's address the biggest myth of all, the idea that ancient humans somehow eliminated jealousy entirely. No anthropological evidence supports that claim, and most researchers agree jealousy was never fully removed from human life. What ancient societies actually did was contain jealousy, channel it, and prevent it from becoming lasting harm. They built social structures, rituals, and communal habits that gave jealousy a safe outlet instead of a hidden wound. This is very different from modern culture, where jealousy is often treated as shameful or something to hide. Many people today feel embarrassed admitting they feel jealous, which often makes the emotion grow stronger in silence. Ancient communities, by contrast, often treated jealousy as a normal signal that needed community attention, not personal shame. Let's imagine one final scene: a coastal village thousands of years ago preparing for a seasonal gathering ceremony. Couples publicly renew their bonds through shared dances, symbolic gifts, and spoken promises witnessed by the entire community. This ceremony reduces uncertainty for everyone watching, because commitment becomes visible instead of assumed or left ambiguous. Modern couples rarely have anything like this, leaving trust and commitment far more private and far more fragile. Researchers studying modern hunter-gatherer descendants have observed similar ceremonies still practiced today in parts of the world. These living traditions offer a rare window into how ancient humans may have handled love and rivalry for millennia. So what does all of this actually mean for you, sitting here in the modern world today? Your jealousy is not a personal failure, and it is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is an ancient survival signal, shaped by thousands of years of evolution, community life, and shared emotional wisdom. The difference is that your ancestors rarely faced jealousy completely alone, without support, ritual, or community guidance. They named it, discussed it, and built entire systems around managing it before it caused lasting damage. Understanding this history does not erase jealousy, but it can change how you relate to the feeling itself. Let's quickly recap everything we have uncovered about how ancient humans truly handled this powerful emotion. Jealousy evolved as a protective signal, not a personal weakness, shaped by thousands of years of human survival. Many ancient societies treated jealousy as a communal issue, managed openly through elders, shamans, and structured rituals. Storytelling and oral tradition prepared children to recognize and understand jealousy long before they ever experienced it themselves. Public rituals and ceremonies reduced uncertainty in relationships, lowering the fuel that jealousy needed to grow stronger. Communal bonding activities likely raised oxytocin levels, softening tension and strengthening trust across entire ancestral groups. Both men and women experienced jealousy, though ancestral research suggests they often responded to different types of threats. Naming jealousy openly, much like ancient storytelling circles encouraged, still helps calm the nervous system according to modern research. Ancient humans never eliminated jealousy, but they built wisdom around it that many of us have quietly lost today. Perhaps the real lesson from our ancestors is not how to avoid jealousy, but how to face it honestly. If this glimpse into ancient emotional wisdom made you see jealousy differently, consider subscribing for more stories like this one. There are many more forgotten practices from our ancestors waiting to be uncovered in future videos on this channel. If you found this exploration valuable, please like this video and share it with someone who might need it. Thank you for spending this time exploring the ancient roots of one of humanity's oldest and most misunderstood emotions.